Have you ever thought of fasting as a method to heal your body? Why is it that fasting is mentioned over 40 times in the Bible? Our colleague and friend, Dr. Edward Group, founder of the Global Healing Center, and his team have dug into past documents and found extensive information on fasting.
Watch the upcoming video and find out what they discovered about water-only fasting, which Dr. Group also calls the most cost-effective method of healing in the entire world. Enjoy, and be sure to watch all the way to the end.
So I actually hired a research scientist to work with me all year long and to find all of the information they could possibly find on fasting, trying to dig up all those documents from the past and put everything together and see, because what I want to talk about is hardcore fasting. I mean, there's a lot of talk about ketogenic and juice fasting. I mean, that's all fine, but I'm like looking for what is a hardcore method that's been used for a long period of time. And I didn't really know a lot about it, or at least didn't dig into the history of it, but this guy worked all day long, every single day, for almost a year with me to try to pull up and find a lot of the information that was out there. So, what I found, I want to share with you today, which is incredible because looking at, some of these old doctors that have spent years and years in the past with doing water fasting protocols. This is a bold statement, but think about if you could really eliminate disease for $1.99 a day. That would be pretty cool. That's how much a gallon of water costs, right? I mean, if you think back at the benefits of water. I mean, how many times do we talk about water? I mean, it's weird that I've been doing all this fasting all year, and then all of a sudden Hurricane Harvey, I'm from Houston, comes in and just goes, here's a bunch of water that just goes, whoosh, and rinses everything out, and my house floods, and it's just like, I'm going through this cleansing process, and then whoosh, my environment gets cleansed with water too, which has actually been a great experience. You don't hear too many people saying that, but it's great to just kind of have a good cleansing of your life every now and then, and it just puts things into perspective and reality. And the more I study fasting, I've been telling people, well, how would you like to get a $120,000 stem cell treatment for free? I mean, your body is so powerful. Your body has the power to heal itself. I've always been talking about the self-healing mechanism and how effective it is. And looking back at religious texts doing research, I mean, I think the Bible mentions fasting over 40 times. And people didn't have a lot of medicinal herbs and different methods of healing themselves a long time ago. So, I used to be one of those doctors that had 400 different vitamin supplements in my cabinet. And it's weird, after 25 years, I'm coming back to simplicity again. Like everything is in simplicity. Your body wants to heal itself, and it's not really that hard to heal from any disease. And the abstinence of food really is the definition of fasting. There's juice fasting, there's intermittent fasting. I like all of those, but water-only fasting is, to me, probably the most cost-effective method of healing in the world. So fasting was God's original medicine. I mean, if you look at the flood, Noah, all that stuff, water, not only did people in the past, whether it's Egyptian, Ayurvedic, every society fast, but it was also a staple for use for spiritual reasons and purification. Everything's about purification. If you're pure, that's why detox and cleansing always works. I mean, and doctors that have been around for ages will tell you that if the body's pure, the body's healthy. And if you look back at some of the methods years and years ago, what did they have? I mean, all of this stuff that's been created recently with the food and all this other stuff is damaging to us. But really, all they had was sunlight, water, air, and rest. And that alone, the reason I don't have food in there is because food wasn't a big staple a long time ago, because animals, when they're sick or they're ill, they fast. And anybody who was sick a long time ago didn't really utilize a lot of food. So we're taught to eat several meals a day. And the more that I started getting into this and looking at this covert agenda between the USDA and the FDA and the American Dietetic Association, all these associations, big pharma, big agriculture, I mean, there's literally been a covert agenda that's been happening for a long time to create fear in us that if we don't eat, we will die. And not only that, but all the chemicals and all the poisoning of the food and everything else. So I kept asking myself, why are so many people scared of fasting? Like, why are so many people scared not to eat? Why do they think that something's going to happen to their body if they don't eat? I start talking to people and asking them, they're like, oh, I'm just going to starve. I mean, you know, but all of this conditioning that's been done for years and years and years and years is what we need to kind of get out of our mind. And then I was saying, well, why aren't doctors using fasting? Well, first of all, they're taught that it's dangerous, that you're going to starve, that you're going to have a mineral deficiency, that you're going to waste away, that you need a bunch of protein in your system. And it really is kind of a dark secret of the medical community, because if you look at the past and how everything's been structured with those relationships with the food industry and the big pharma industry, it's all designed really to keep us sick. I mean, it really all revolves around money. And that's why, you know, why are they going to teach fasting in medical school? Why are they going to teach you how you can get rid of any disease? Well, not like Down syndrome or stuff, but any degenerative disease, because there's no money in it. As I was working with my research scientists, trying to find documentation on fasting, one thing led to another and led to another and led to another, and it was really hard to find stuff. I mean, we know because of all the research, that all the research and all the books on natural medicine from the 1800s, even back to the 1600s, when you look at Paracelsus and you look at Pythagoras, who had made his students fast for 30 days before he even accepted them as a student. It's been going on for a long time. But all of those books, I mean, all those books were pretty much taken and burned by the pharmaceutical companies because they don't want to give you the information that you need so your body can be healthy. And let me tell you, it's been amazing that we've been able to track down some of these old documents and some of these successes. You know, some doctors that did over 100,000 supervised water fasts. I've read so many case studies on water fasting of what it can do to the body and how fast the body regenerates. And I put some in here to share with you how powerful it actually is.
How did you like this video? I hope you learned something new. Please take a second to let us know in the comments below.
And stay tuned to upcoming Truth About Cancer live events and free broadcastings of our upcoming docuseries by clicking the link on the screen now.
Thanks for watching. Stay healthy.
Stay healthy.